welcome back to New Age Prospecting. And if you guys clicked the link on my last video, thanks for coming. And for you guys that just showed up, I'm going to be showing you guys my cleanup sluice, which is called Heck of A Sluice. I bought it on eBay and it was about $65. Came with the pump. It's a Atwood Tsunami 500 gallons per hour pump, and it's a marine bilge pump, and basically it's in here. I have it set up, and you guys, if you put your bilge pumps inside your buckets here, you make sure it's not sitting on the bottom where it's sucking up all the silt and stuff when you run your bilge and when you run your sluice here. So this is my sluice, my cleanup sluice. And basically it's got the Keene Engineering Miracle Mat in here, and it's got all these ribs in here. There's a bunch of small little rib, actually, and then it goes into a Hungarian riffle. So it's pretty innovative, and it's pretty new on the market in the past year or two. And there's a guy on eBay, he's selling this. It's in a rain gutter, but he actually has a new one that he's selling. It's a 4-inch wide one. This one's probably 3 inches wide, and it's actually not in a rain gutter, his new one. So suggest looking at it and maybe going to eBay and buying it. He's selling it without the pump for, I believe, $54. And like I'm going to show you here, guys, it works really well with running through your concentrates and all that. So, but anyways, guys, you got to have your angle right when you set up your sluice here, your mini sluice. General rule of thumb is 1 inch per linear foot. So this is a 24-inch sluice box, and so I have it about a 2-inch slope down, and I measure down 2 inches right here to get the angle and all that. So but like I said, this is my cleanup sluice. It's called a Heck of a Sluice, and it works really well when I'm going through my cons. And if you guys didn't watch my other video on how to classify your cons down from sluicing or dredging or highbanking or whatever you were doing in, on the river or wherever you were at, I had a video where I was showing you how to concentrate your cons down, and what I did is I concentrated down to a 20 mesh, and here it is on my last video. And now I'm gonna run this through my sluice, my cleanup sluice, and show you guys how it runs. Okay guys, before you guys get going and running your sluice, your cleanup sluice, this is all rubber right here. So I've had my cleanup sluice, my Heck of a Sluice, sitting in the garage for a while, and it's probably gotten a little greasy or anything kind of dirt on it and all that. So what I do is I pour a little bit of jet dry on it, and basically I clean it up before I you can use dish soap, will work just fine. But I make sure I get it, all those oils cleaned up. You can see it's kind of a detergent. And I'm just taking off the film off the rubber, or whatever kind of grease is on it, dirt and stuff. So it's a good idea to clean your rubber matting. Even your rubber matting in your sluice box, you want to clean it up before you head out to the river, because you never know when you have any kind of oils on it. It's pretty bad to have your oils. And I'll clean my front surface here. Your front surface here is kind of like a chalkboard paint, and you'll see the gold likes to hang up in this, slowly work its way down through into the ripples here. Okay, now I scrubbed up my rib mattings there. It's rubber. I'm going to start up the sluice here with my 500 gallon per hour bilge pump. It's an Atwood Tsunami. You can get it at Walmart, 15 bucks I think. But anyways, here's my battery right here. I got a little, let's see, motorcycle battery, and basically I just, you know, this was 30 bucks O'Reilly's. But anyways, I got it running to kind of where I want it to be running for my my angle, my flow. You gotta always make sure that you don't have too much flow. And it'll be blowing all your concentrates out and all your little fine flour gold. And this rib matting works really well. It's Hungarian riffles with the there's little ribs in it, and then there goes into the Hungarian riffles. And basically you want to run a little bit of jet dry, which I've already used scrubbing it up. Just going to add a little bit more to the water. Not much though. But basically when I'm using the jet dry or any kind of soap, you want some soap in the water. You want it to cut that surface tension, so because gold will float. Some of that finer flour gold will just flow on right out of your pan. If you ever got your concentrates down to all your flour gold left, and it gets high and dry, and you start swirling around your pan, basically it floats. So, and I've seen bigger pieces float. So you got to break that surface tension by using some kind of soap and all that. That's one good tip that you guys should take note of on when you use your cleanup sluice, or if you're just panning, you know, you're panning out your cons or you're panning your material. Obviously you can't use it at the river. You don't want to put soap in the river, but when you're at home, I suggest doing that. Okay, before I do start, I added my jet dry, so it breaks the surface tension, and because you don't want your gold to float away. I tend to get all the bubbles out. I kind of wipe the ripples down with my toothbrush here, and you want to get all those bubbles out of there. There could be a few in there. So what I'm going to do is just wipe down all the rib matting here and all the bubbles out, so you kind of see no more bubbles. And that looks about pretty good there. So now, basically on my other video I showed you guys how to concentrate down your cons to about 20 mesh, and now I have it here. And what I do is I run it wet, because like I said, you don't want to have your gold floating out of your cleanup sluice. So the best thing is to have it all wet, slurry it up, you know, and then run it that way, because your gold will float out if it's dry. It'll just float on down the sluice. So, but I have the jet dry in there, which helps out a lot. So I'm gonna put a few spoonfuls through here. I'll zoom in for you guys so you can see that. Okay guys, I'm gonna run a few spoonfuls here for you. I don't know how well I did. It was generally I snuffer up all my gold out of my rib mattings before I head home. I kind of like instant gratification when I'm at the river. So this is just the cons that are left in my ripples and a little bit in my black matting. And basically I kind of run it really slow on here. And tip it over, let the water kind of pull it down the sluice. So as you can see, it just goes it's really slow and tedious, but it's kind of fun when you don't have any time to sluice at the river. Just fill it up. So you don't want to feed too much into the pan. You don't want to overload it. So just little by little. But this is how I do my concentrates when I get home after I classify it all down. I come home and actually, sometimes I don't even get a chance to do it. So that's why I have these for like rainy days and stuff like that. So we'll see how I do, but generally most of my gold ends up in these ripples right here. I find a little bit behind these Hungarian ripples, but not too much. I generally find them up in the rib matting here, these ribs right in between the Hungarian riffles. Okay, so now I zoomed in a little closer for you guys. You can kind of get an idea how it just goes right up and over those ripples there. You can see how this miracle matting works really, really well. But you can see how those Hungarian ripples produce a little eddy behind them. It works really well. Okay guys, I took you off the tripod to show you the other part of my sluice here. As you can see, there is a a catch pail down here at the bottom here that I put underneath my sluice here. So when I do run this cons here, I catch it in this catch pail right here, and basically I'll rerun that, and so I don't have to go digging through my whole bucket here and go looking for those cons. But I do have some holes. I don't know if you can see that underneath there, but I do have some holes in that little pail, little bucket, and all the fines or the light stuff will just flow right through those. So you can kind of see how I have my bucket just sitting there, and it's just flowing right into it, so I can rerun my material. And what I'll do is I'll run this this material at a less of an angle, and I'll even slow down the water so I can catch the finer flower gold. But generally I don't really find too much on my second cleanup. Generally on the first my first run, it's basically gets it all. One modification I did to the sluice here is I glued this bottom piece of wood on the bottom here, and there's also another piece that kind of separates in between the bucket there. But what it did is, by gluing the piece of wood on there, it stiffened up my sluice. My sluice was pretty twisty and didn't really have much support, but now it works a lot better. It's not so twisty, and it's pretty solid now. So as you can see. Okay guys, I finished off my pan full concentrates there. As you can see, I got a little bit of gold up there in the first few ribs, and as you go down a little bit, not too much. Wasn't really a successful couple days of sluicing. I wish I can show you guys a boatload of gold, but sometimes you go out there and you don't get much. But anyways, you could see, as you can see in there, let's zoom in on it, but that's some of the gold there I got. But like I said, I did pull out with my snuffer bottle out of the ripples of my sluice box as I was on the river. So this is just what's left over in my cons. Not much, but anyways, if you guys have any comments, just leave some comments in the comment box down below the video here. And anyways, there's going to be a link at the end of this video, and you'll be able to link yourself to how to get your blonde sands out of the black sands. And you know, when you pull out all that magnetite with your magnet, you're gonna have to get the blonde sands and your golds out of that black sand. So there'll be a link to that, and then also there'll be a link to how to classify your material down when you get it home from the river. That's just in case you guys didn't see that. There will be a link on that. So anyways, my name is Brian, and thanks for coming to my YouTube channel, New Age Prospecting. And that's about it. I hope you guys like the Heck of a Sluice cleanup sluice that I bought on eBay. Thing's pretty sweet. So anyways, I'll have one more little footage of when I dump out this this material out of these ripples here. I will put it in a pan, and then I'll kind of pan it out, and I'll show you what I get out of that. Okay, now what I do is, all I have to do is just put my pan here on top of here. I kind of hold it up on a steep angle to get the material out of it, and I just turn it on for a split second, not much, 10 seconds. Roll it back and forth. You got a nice angle on there. Just shoots it all down, and then that's about it. Kind of clears out your sluice. Okay guys, I panned it out as far as I can go with this flower gold, some of the finest gold I've ever seen. But here's the outcome here, and as you can see, give it a little tap tap. This stuff is super fine. Thanks again, you guys, for coming to my YouTube channel, and I'm sure to have some more tips and tricks and all that coming up. So stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.